Well, we've now about reached that point in time in the week where you're starting to wonder whether or not I even watched Raw this week, let alone was going to bother to do a review of the show. And frankly, even though I had watched the show and finished watching it Tuesday night, I was even kind of wondering if I was going to get to the point where I would be bothered with doing a Raw review. So, we're here. You're getting one. Don't know how good it's going to be. Just letting you know. No characters this week. No talk about all the segments. Just a few things I'm going to touch on. I'm going to do it now, and I'll try to make this short, but as so often the case with me, it'll get long-winded, but hopefully you can stick around for it. First thing I want to talk about is Randy Orton. And it's so often the case with something involving him or something involving Cena. He's involved in a match that people are going to overrate in part because of the opponent, because, oh, she's really good. But I look at it, it's like, how many times do I need to see Randy Orton versus Dolph fucking Ziggler? How many times do I need to see that match? This is many times too fucking many. And it's booked like so many other Orton-Ziggler matches have been. Orton makes Ziggler look really good. Ziggler makes himself look like a selling machine, gets his hope spots, and then Orton fucking wins. I mean, you got Cesaro out there doing commentary. You got Seth Rollins coming down the ramp. You have multiple avenues and opportunities to A, protect one or both individuals in the ring, and B, if nothing else, advance other stories. And instead, they just have Randy Orton, RKO, Dolph Ziggler, and beat your IC champion clean. Why do you need to do that? Why? This wasn't a match with a rivalry. This wasn't a match with a story. This wasn't something that was built up to for a period of time. This was just kind of randomly thrown out there, and you have your Intercontinental Champion lose to Randy Orton. Is that necessary? No, the fuck it's not. And this is a whole thing with Orton. Just so many things that he's involved with in recent years have just sucked. Heel, face, it doesn't fucking matter. And now we're getting this talk about him going back to being a babyface, and you can see where they're setting it up. And, you can tell that's where they want to go. I don't necessarily agree. We've been down that babyface turn with Randy Orton road before, and how did that work out? It's pretty stupid. In particular, now, you turn Randy Orton babyface. You think he's going to be the number 5 or 6 babyface in the company? You're fucking joking. You're kidding your damn self. What does this mean for guys like Ambrose and Reigns and potentially Bray Wyatt and so on and so forth? There are a lot of things to think about with a Randy Orton face turn, and a lot of them are bad things. However, I will say this, is that they have the chance to get it right with Randy Orton this time as a babyface. They got a chance to do something different with him. It's part of the reason I guess they had him win, emphasizing the RKO out of nowhere, is because of the vines that were getting spread on the internet that even Randy Orton was watching and retweeting, with him RKO and all these different fucking things. And, they're funny. They're cool. Something you don't usually associate with Randy Orton. So my whole thing is, you never really repackaged him when he was turned face. You never really repackaged him when he turned back heel. Here's a chance, if you actually want to change the side of the fence that his character is on, to actually bother doing the necessary proper work to, oh my God, fucking repackage the character. Here's what you do. If these random RKO out of nowhere vines have taken off and exploded in popularity on the internet, then you make Randy Orton a fucking walking vine. You have him sit there in a backstage segment or in an in-ring segment, whatever the case might be, a fucking RKO Seth Rollins. And then Triple H and Stephanie are sitting there and fucking looking at him. They kind of smirk at the same time they're pissed off. And then he RKOs Triple H for the fuck all of it. And then Stephanie's pissed off. She's yelling. And Orton's like, sorry. And then he RKOs her bitch ass too. And you just send him on a freaking RKO vining rampage. Or what I mean is, for the next several weeks, even for the next couple of months, all he does is he just RKOs people. Backstage interview. RKO. Somebody coming down the ramp. Outruns Orton. RKO. All these different things. Somebody in the locker room, RKO. Somebody in the John, RKO. I mean, you could really build something with this. You could really get some mileage out of this. Make Randy Orton your Raw Vine every week. Make him something different in your product. You don't have to have him wrestle crappy matches every week, be a part of stupid promo segments every week. You could find a way to sprinkle them all throughout the show, but do it in 7-second clips. If you don't think that that would be a great way to get this guy over as a freaking babyface, I got news for you. You're living in a world of stupidity and denial. This would work. This would be genius. It would match something that's actually going on in pop culture. It would make his character stand out. It would be the way to get more mileage out of him by doing less, as opposed to less mileage out of him by doing more. Why would you not want to see that? You just want him to turn face to basically be the same fucking character he's been for the past 7 years? No. It's an opportunity to repackage him, and that's what they need to do. As far as who do you have him feud with, fuck it, who cares? Like you go to Survivor Series, and let's say it was a big 5-on-5 match. He just RKOs everybody. Then he leaves. That's the character. That's the shtick. It buys you time. It makes people want to see anybody and everybody get RKO'd. Put plants in the crowd. Have them fucking RKO fans. RKO celebrities. You should be RKOing anything and every fucking thing that moves at this point. That's how you get him over as a big-time babyface. Now, speaking of getting things over, I do applaud the WWE, even though I've seen some people talk about, oh, this is stupid, this is the 80s. Well, you know what? When it comes to Rusev, this shit has worked. And the WWE hasn't lost interest in it, and I've been impressed by that. I thought by now Vince and/or Dunn would have sat there and said, you don't want this anymore. Or Vince would have sat there and said, you know what the people really want to see? Rusev in a bikini. Not Lana. Rusev in a bikini. And Pat Patterson goes, oh, look at me, those are my French ticklas. You know, but they stuck with Rusev. And they've gotten behind Rusev. And they've been patient with Rusev. And they've given him the platform. They've given him a full, legit opportunity. And him and Lana have done a good job of taking advantage of that opportunity. This is how you make stars. And this is good. But what I don't like about this whole thing with Big Show and Rusev is that it seems like they're determined to continue to give away these matches between Big Show and Rusev on free TV. Why blow through the mileage on this when you don't have to? Unless you're just sitting there and setting up for Hell in a Cell and that's it, and that's the only pay-per-view match you intend to have with Big Show and Rusev, I just don't understand why you need to do that at this point. Why not sit there and save these matches for pay-per-view? Why not sit there and save these matches for your bigger shows? You know, I don't get that. I like how Mark Henry ran out, you know, to help the Big Show out and everything like that, so they kind of kept some storyline integrity here. But as far as the whole Rusev thing, if they're getting to the point where they're just building him up to feed him to John Cena at WrestleMania, then this company is fucking stupid. To me, if I'm going to feed Rusev to anybody at WrestleMania and have him lose, I'm going to utilize him as an opportunity to relaunch a repackaged babyface that I'm going to get behind and I'm going to push very strongly. And I've told some other people this over the past month or two. The guy I would do that with would be Ryback. You imagine if you sit there come WrestleMania, maybe you have Rusev issue the traditional open challenge, and you sit there and he's plowed through so many people, and you wonder who the fuck's going to come out and defend America's honor. Out comes fucking Ryback and squashes Rusev in like 30 seconds. To those that would sit there and say that that makes Rusev look stupid, or that makes Rusev look like a joke, or that diminishes and ruins everything that you've built up and worked for with him, no the fuck it doesn't. If anything, there is an appropriate place and time to do those type of squash matches. It doesn't hurt Rusev because his character and Lana could come back and say it was a surprise, it wasn't fair, and you launch Ryback back as a fucking monster like he's supposed to fucking be, and you use WrestleMania 31 as a launching point for a feud. Instead, we know if Cena gets to Rusev, they sure as hell are not going to go through an entire program without Cena getting one over Rusev at some point in time. And do you really want to fucking see that? That's a whole problem with this, is that they build up these characters just to feed them to Cena and fuck anything else. They need to keep Rusev as far away from fucking Cena as they possibly can. Because I can't even sit there and say, well, if they had Cena. No, because as soon as they put Cena with them, they'll be tempted to do things the same old fucking Cena bullshit way. One thing I really did like on this show was how they utilized Miz and Mizdow and Sheamus. You know, This is an example of decent, solid booking that there isn't a lot of reason to complain about. Miz has help, built-in interference with his stunt double Mizdow. I especially love how he's sitting there and he's doing all the theatrics and he's acting along as the Miz is getting hit or doing the hitting. You know, Sheamus is the babyface. You make it look like he wins, but there's interference. Miz gets one over, and the heel beats the fucking U.S. champion in a non-title match with help. But he still beats him. He gets him heat on the heel. That was good. This was well done. You know, you don't always have to overthink this shit. But, you know, a lot of times WWE will do the exact opposite. They'll just sit there and they would have Sheamus kick Sandow and fucking plow through Miz and beat both of them. This was good. And then we get to Cena and Ambrose. You know, they're part of the opening segment. And this is the problem is that with the WWE, when they do get something good, and they definitely have something good with Ambrose, and frankly, to be fair, they have a little bit of something good here with Cena and Ambrose in a little kind of mini feud. They have something good here. But the problem is, as is so often the case with the WWE, they try to water it down. They try to dilute it. They try to cram it down your throat. They say, oh my God, we got something that gets a little bit of a spark. Let's try to make a big Chicago fire out of it. That's what they try to do. You know, these guys are in the opening segment. That for some fucking reason, they're in a tag match against the Usos and the Dust Boys. Why are Cena and Ambrose winning this tag match? Why isn't Cena walking out on Ambrose and Ambrose losing because his partner abandoned him? Why do you have to have Cena and Ambrose go over here? This is fucking stupid. Why would you throw the tag team division under the bus for two guys that don't fucking need it at this point? See, this is the type of shit from the WWE that fucking aggravates me. Not only were you throwing these guys into another match, another segment that they didn't need to be in on this show, where you're over-featuring them, you're over-spotlighting them, now you're sitting there and you're throwing the Usos and the Dust Boys by the fucking wayside and saying you ain't shit because Cena and Ambrose, they can't even fucking get along, but they're going to beat your fucking ass. It's just dumb. And then we get the whole thing of, well, you've announced that you're going to do Cena versus Ambrose in Hell in a Cell at the pay-per-view. Well, fuck it. Why wait? We're just going to do it tonight. I applaud having some type of spontaneity. I applaud, trying to go with this, understanding that Cena and Ambrose has some nice dynamics to it. Like I said, is a kind of nice little mini feud. But why not just wait until next week to do it? Build up to this for an entire week? I'm just saying. I won't poon on them too much for that because, like I said, in a show that desperately needs a fresh feel and a shake up with the format, it's a spontaneity. At least this is an attempt to kind of feel spontaneous. But then we get the match itself. For crying out fucking loud. The contract on a pole match wasn't a rib. It was legit. They actually fucking did it. And you're going to have this match. You don't even have these guys go that long. This is Cena versus Ambrose one-on-one with something at stake that is supposed to be incredibly important to both of these individuals. And I think the match went, 8 minutes? That is, if even that is way too fucking short. This match should have gotten the last 20 to 25 minutes of the damn show. And this whole insistence of doing this type of stupid match so that way they could protect Cena but still send Ambrose off to freaking fight Seth Rollins is just trash. It's just trash. Some of you don't like when I compare wrestling to sports. Well, too fucking bad because I think it is appropriate. I'm a big Bulls fan. The Michael Jordan Bulls of 95-96. They won 72 games. They still lost 10. They didn't win every single fucking game. And of those 10 losses in the regular season, that is, they didn't sit there and get screwed by the refs or have this guy be out as the reason or that guy be out for the reason. Yeah, maybe they didn't play well, but sometimes the other team just played better and was better and fucking beat them. That's reality. That's life. There's a reason those idiotic old fucks from the 72 Dolphins are able to break out their stupid champagne every year to celebrate their lousy-ass, overrated 17-0 season that happened over 4 decades ago is because it's incredibly difficult, as even the 2007 Patriots proved, to go through an entire regular season and the playoffs undefeated and win the championship. Even the best NFL teams, they lose at some point in fucking time. The 85 Bears, hell, they even lost a game. Look at the Seahawks of last year. They lost, what, 3 games? Peyton Manning's Broncos, I think they lost, what, 3 games? I mean, they don't win every fucking game. They don't win every fucking time. Like even Tiger Woods, when he was dominant and he was owning golf, as perhaps no other golfer not named Jack Nicklaus had ever done before, he still didn't win every fucking major. He had his Tiger Slam, but he didn't have a regular calendar year Grand Slam. He wasn't sitting there and winning 100% of the damn tournaments he was in. Even sometimes when he played really well, he still didn't win. Sometimes when he didn't play that well, he lost. You get what I'm saying here? So this whole notion of that you got to protect Cena, and that if he loses here to somebody like Ambrose, it fucking hurts his character. No! This is the stupidity of the WWE when it comes to John Cena, and I point the finger of blame squarely at Vince McMahon and to a lesser degree John Cena. Because first of all, when it comes to Cena, if you think he doesn't have a lot of creative control over his character, you're fucking stupid. He is a top guy in the WWE. He is the top guy in the WWE. He is a political force. Do not buy or believe into any other bullshit that tells you or suggests to you anything different. As I've talked about on so many occasions, so many top guys in the WWE have been masterful politicians and had tremendous amounts of influence and creative control behind the scenes. Whether it's Hogan or Austin or Brett or Michaels, and I could go on and on, one of your all-time favorites has fucking fit into that category. All of a sudden now in 2014, John Cena doesn't? You're stupid. Just like the WWE is stupid. The reason adult fans like me boo John Cena, don't buy his merchandise by and large, don't like to watch John Cena, don't buy your WWE network in greater numbers, is because your top good guy has more redeeming qualities as a bad guy than he does as a good guy. And it's bullshit like this, where you sit there and actually think that one loss to arguably the hottest character you have in the company right now would be a bad thing. How would that be a bad thing? If you had Cena and Ambrose wrestle for 15 or 20 minutes and Ambrose beat him, isn't that the type of signature victory that instantly elevates Ambrose to an entirely different level? Isn't that the type of victory for an Ambrose that sits there and gets people even more behind him and potentially gets you ready to have another big star, which benefits everybody in the fucking company, including Cena and Vince, by having Cena lose? Doesn't that give you a reason to want to see Cena and Ambrose wrestle in the future? Especially if you have Cena lose to Ambrose again because you don't know for sure that Cena can actually beat him. Actually gives you a little bit of a reason to get behind him because you're like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I don't know that this guy can actually get it done. But no, we got to have all this bullshit interference, and Dean Ambrose in this match that had such a huge important stipulation on the line with a company, of course, that has a world champion that looks like he's not going to be in the fucking fold until 2015 because, again, this company is stupid. They decide with this important match with such an important stipulation that they're going to sit there and have it finish in this stupid ass way. Dean Ambrose wins and it's fucking done. We're going to set up to John Cena versus Randy Orton and make that almost seem like that's the bigger fucking deal because we're stupid. The WWE is seriously going to consider making John Cena versus Randy Orton the main event of Hell in a Cell because they are stupid. You have one match and one match only that has all of the check marks in its category clearly indicating that it deserves to be the main event of Hell in a Cell, and that is Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Why would you sit there in today's WWE at a time where you desperately need to create new stars? Every day, it's more and more than you've ever needed to before. We've seen Cena and Orton main event how many fucking pay-per-views now and one-on-one matches? Knowing damn good and well that if you send out Cena and Orton in that main event, it is going to get pooned, pooned, pooned. If WWE doesn't main event Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell, they will prove one thing. They will prove to you just how stupid they are. They will turn Randy Orton babyface, and instead of giving him the necessary character repackage and reboot and change that can make him entertaining, they will be stupid about it, and he will be just as boring as a babyface as he's been as a heel as he was as a babyface before. They're going to eventually serve up Rusev, it would seem like, to John Cena because they are stupid. They will give Cena another notch on his belt like he fucking needs one, where they could use Rusev getting his first loss as a huge, big-time WrestleMania moment for a repackaged character like a Ryback, and fuck, there you go. If Reigns, for some reason even, isn't necessarily ready by the Royal Rumble and you change your mind about him, fucking send Reigns at Rusev. Gives people, at least for the short term, a reason to really get behind this fucking guy. And then Cena and Ambrose. This in itself feels like a pay-per-view match. This in itself feels like a really good feud just waiting to happen. And you start to go there. And then instead of giving us a classic type of Raw match with a signature victory for a Dean Ambrose, a real star-making moment, you give us a short-ass main event where all the focus seemed to be more so on the members of the Authority being ringside, and you have Dean Ambrose win in a garbage-ass bullshit fashion. WWE is just stupid. They just really are. There's so much potential to do so much more. They just can't get out of their own fucking way.